Yo, 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 what it do, TV land? You're tapped in and tuned in live, man. ROE 2022, man. I'm about to go up, man. I'm going in, I'm going ham, man. Live with Corporate Cartel, man. I'm all the way on the East Coast right now, man. I'm down up in Chi-Town somewhere, man. I'm all over the place, man. Just know I'm live right now with Corporate Cartel, man. What it do? Trey, what's up, man? So you.
Today we got a special guest, man, hailing out of Watts, Cali, man. OG, one of Watts' finest. Man, bro, name and where you from for the audience, man. Let them know what's going on.
I'm from Watts, Nickerson Garden, man. Originally, about the projects, man. Raised Project Baby, man, since 1970. Descended from Kansas City, Missouri, by way of Texas, man. Those are my origins.
So you say you by way of Texas and in Missouri?
Yes, sir.
Okay. All right, so you say you from Nickerson Gardens, man. So what it was like growing up?
Growing up in the 70s in Watts period, not just the Nickerson Garden, but just Watts period, just the whole community of Watts period, man, was an experience within itself, man. It was pro-black back then because we didn't, the gangs didn't merge and really flourish until 1973 and 74 and so on, and it went on from there. But growing up in the early years in Watts, man, and growing up in my community itself and just Nickerson Garden, man, it was a lot of fun. We grew up as kids, put it like this, I had the opportunity and was blessed in my life to be able to grow up as a kid. I wasn't forced to become an adult fast like a lot of the youngsters in this era, in this time zone. It's like they're forced to become grown at 15 and 16 years old. We didn't have that. We grew up as kids. We played marbles, girls hopscotch, bungee jumped, jump rope, tetherball. We went swimming. All of us knew gymnastics practically, damn near. A whole lot of us that turned out to become, these gangsters and gangbangers and gang members. We all can tumble our ass off. We was definitely deaf in gymnastics, man. In the projects, a lot of us. I can name a whole list of us. You know what I mean? But my relative Amanor, he was a pioneer in the game, man. When it came down to tumbling and flipping, and we had a cat called White Boy Chris, my big homie Lightbulb, my homie Goo Goo. These dudes, they was vicious when it came down to, flipping and tumbling. So that's what inspired me in the tumbling. But a lot of us used to tumble, back in the days in the era. Like I said, we grew up as kids, we did kid shit. We hustled cans, for the summer, we did different things, we, as a group of kids, we would go swimming, we did kid shit. So it was fun in the early ages before we started adapting to the gang theory, man, to the integral plot that was plotted on our communities, all communities of America, basically. There was an integral plot, and we was caught up in that integral plot during that time and in that era. So it was very fun for me, coming up at that time, man, as a kid, great experience for me and my siblings. My turning point for me and what led me into the gang aspect of thing, it was never peer pressure. Let's get that understood for one, because a lot of us, we think that gangs are based on peer pressure, and a lot of people don't know that, a lot of these gangs, cats don't join the gangs because they was peer pressured or they was pressured into doing so. A lot of people like myself was fascinated by it. I was fascinated because I was growing up playing sports. I lived a double life, basically. At this time, I lived a double life, man. I was a sports fanatic, and I was known in my hood already with a name, growing up in a name as great in football and baseball. I played sports, gymnastics, and I swim my ass off. So I was a triathlon. I did it all. Basically, I ran track. So I did a lot of shit, man. You feel me? And so the gangs became a challenge for me. You know what I mean? It became a challenge, and it was just something that I looked up to. But that wasn't my lifestyle per se that I knew I was headed in that direction because my plans were already basically mapped out for me through my parents, primarily my father, my king. And so in my mind, it was to go to school because I was pressured by my parents to go to school, get educated, because that was my power. And that was always something that was always instilled in me by my father, that's your power, man. Not your gun, not a bow and arrow, not any type of weapon or form. That weapon is to protect by all means and all is necessary when necessary. That was taught to me by my father. But your overall power is your mind. Feel me? I fought in Vietnam. I fought wars that some people don't come back home from. But the most thing that I gained from everything in my life was my education, is what my father telling me. So that was something that was always instilled in me to educate myself. So even having that mindset, when I did cross over, I still went to school. I educated myself. Even in prison, I educated myself, read tons of books. I didn't do what the average cats would do, just fuck around in prison, just kill time. My killing time was studying. So my turning point, I would have to say, which is actually jumping into it head on, was when I lost the death of my parents and my little brother back to back. I was a youngin', 19, going on 20 years old. Just got out of YA for a couple of bodies, attempted body, two ADWs, an attempted body, and the body that I beat the charge. It wasn't me. The charges was dropped. And so I went to YA, had to do 5 years for attempt for paralyzing someone. And then, from there, that was my experience as far as leading me into the structure of the system. But I still had a chance. I still could be saved, sort of say. So my father was on me on that aspect, trying to save me from crossing over. And so once I got out of YA, 17, I called my first shits, man, when I was 16, 17, man. I got picked up and questioned for a body, and they let me go. And then I got picked up again, but for something that I supposed to have done primarily, so they charged me. So this time they charged me with a body. They gave me 187 and an attempted murder, and 2 counts of ADW. So I ended up beating 187. You know what I mean? It got dropped. I got questioned on it. It got dropped. It wasn't me. I didn't fit the description, whatnot. And so they ended up charging me with the attempt to 2 counts of ADW. With the attempts of ADW and the attempted murder, in the system, in the jurisdictional system, what that's called is called a shotgun approach. And I had to learn this in my adult years. I didn't know this in my young early years when I was 16 and 17 facing YA. And so they hit me with the shotgun approach. So my father spent a lot of money, for an attorney, trying to keep me out, keep me free from going all together. And so, of course, I got found guilty for the attempted murder and the ADW, and that's what led me to YA for the 5 years, because I paralyzed someone, put them in a wheelchair for the rest of their life. And so not necessarily, B, for me, like I said, the gang culture came about, and once it hit us in 73, summer 73 and 74, my big homies, which is the first generation, is what planted our seeds in our neighborhood as far as putting that tag and that stamp and that name on us. And so that's what drew my admiration and my attention, watching them. And when I say them, I mean cats like, of course, my big homie Ray Boyce, rest in peace, the Thorntons, all the Thorntons, all the Barker boys, me, Big Light Bub, Bonnie Hunter Spud, rest in peace, Pistol Pete, rest in peace. The list goes on. It was so many of my big homies that inspired me. So watching them and then growing up, living next door to individuals who was real bounty hunters at the time in the early 70s, 73, 74, 75, which was my big homies. I was getting schooled all the way around the board. So I was going to school, getting my academic education on that level, and then I would come home and go outside. And now, as a kid growing up, now I'm from an adolescent to a teen, and I'm going into my teenage years. I'm starting to think on an adult level because I've always ahead of myself. I didn't hang around 15 and 14-year-old kids. I would hang around 19-year-old, 20, 17, 18-year-old individuals who was older than me. So therefore, I learned. I picked up on certain shit. And so by me being really, really headstrong as far as my education, that gave me strength in the streets as well. Because a lot of my peers, my homies couldn't read and write. They was dropouts. They dropped out in sixth grade, fifth grade. Never went back to school, none of that. So, but they was hustlers. Niggas was gangsters and hustlers, killers and hitters, but they wasn't educated. They was dumbfounded. So that gave me leverage. And when I seen it, I knew that I always stayed on myself as far as my education, even when my parents was instilling it to me. So I always went to school and educated myself because I knew that was my power. And I knew that I would be able to utilize that power for the rest of my life because this is what was instilled in me from my father. So going on down the line, moving along in summer 76, 77 and 76 is when I really said, okay, damn, I'm finna get out. I want to be a hunter. I want to be a bounty hunter. But I still want to go to the NFL and the MLB. I want to be able to represent my hood and come back and move my family out the projects. But shit, I want to do this too. So I started living a double life. Come 76 or 77, I jumped in. I'm off the porch. Feel me? But I wasn't all the way head in yet until this particular incident occurred. 78, 79 is what put me head in. And that's when I went to YA. And from there, once I lost my parents, it was a wrap. I told him, give me the suit. I threw the red suit on myself, put the whole red suit on, told the devil, I got you. I'm gone. I'm finna rule this shit. And I became who I became, Bounty Hunter BJ. Somebody that was very massive, volatile, dangerous, fearful. You know what I mean? I was relentless. And and I don't say any of these things to brag or boast. I'm giving you facts of what my life was then. I'm not that same person today. That's who I was then. I gave 29 to 30 year active duty years of my life to these funky ass streets, bro. Would I do it again if I had to do it all over again? Fuck no. Hell to the no. I wouldn't give a dime, a second of my breath to these punk ass streets, man. But I did that then. I did that, and I did it swell. And I'm still here today, based on my blessings of God, Allah Himself, nothing else. It wasn't me that's got me here today. It wasn't because I was Superman. I'd have been shot up, homie, 3 different occasions, 44, feel me, AK assault rifle. I'd have been stabbed up on 3 different occasions, penitentiary, you know what I mean? I've been through it, bro, Rat Pack.
What was like the first game you ever heard of?
The first game?
Like was it the
Crips, and Pyrus. Actually, Crips, Brims, Pyrus was the first actual gangs that we have heard of as far as when it came down to our generation. I'm from second generation, from after my first generation, which was the early 70s. But we knew the gangs existed in 73 and 74. But in 1973 and 74, my awareness of the first gangs that I have heard of was the Crips, because that's where it all started. And so from the Crips, then we had heard the Brims. And this is like 73, 74 when I got wind of it. You know what I mean? And at this time, this is when it's trickling down to the east side, and on the east side where it trickled down toward us, toward Watts. And then at that time you got the Jordan Downs, but we were all one big community. Like I said, we could surface from each project to project. So the Jordan Downs could come to the Nickerson go to the Jordan Downs or the PJs, the Hyannis, because we were all one conglomerate, one W. It was one W, Watts, the community of Watts, period. And so we had the Pig Meats and the Green Jackets then, which was our big homies, and the Green Jackets was some of a little bit of everything, and the Pig Meats was primarily from the Jordan Downs, but it was a structure, you know what I mean? And so with that, the gangs came in, and that brought in the separation as far as our community itself of Watts. So, yeah, my introduction, I would say, was 73 and 74 when my first hearing of the gangs was the Crips, and then the Brims, Pyrus. And the Pyrus was established in that aspect in the early 70s, but that's when I had heard of it. Because I got wind. Go ahead.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, so I was doing like research before I interviewed you. I seen that the Nickerson Gardens is the largest housing project in Watts, and it's basically primarily the bounty hunters territory. Like it's basically that's the main gang over there. So when you was growing up, was there any other gangs over there before bounty hunters became the predominant people over there, or like was it any Crips and Bloods over there, or Pyrus and all that before that, or not?
You talking about in the Nickerson Garden itself?
Yeah, like
we had homies that grew up in the projects, like that went on to move out to Compton and different areas who became Pyrus, like the homie the Chisholms. Them was our homies. The Chisholms was originally aided after Nickerson Garden. Feel me? That's why they got mad squabbles. That's why Rock Chisholm and Greg Chisholm, all them niggas could squabble, because they come up out the Nickerson Garden, the projects first, and move to Compton. A few of my homies that moved to Compton, but they was from the Nickerson, you know what I mean? And but for us, it being any other structure, any other gang in the Nickerson before it was bounty hunters. Now, like I said, it was the Green Jackets, but that was, you know, it wasn't an actual gang. It was just a clique. You know, it wasn't a gang like they were gang banging and going out destroying shit, you know, or genociding. It was a clique, just like you had the pig meats and, you know, the Slauson boys, you know, the Slauson boys on the west side, and, you know, had different cliques back then who were cliques who come up, well, they was considered as gangs in Los Angeles. You can say they called them gang, you know, because anytime you got over 5 individuals, they want to tag our shit, they want to call it a gang. But they were cliques to us. But the actual gang theory didn't set in until the early 70s. Like I said, 73, 74, it was when it started flourishing, and it ran from there.
Okay, so I got a couple questions. You said, okay, so you said they came from the Nickerson. Those two guys that came from Nickerson, they got mad squabbles. So it's a thing that's from Cali that's around pop culture. The fade, they talk about the fade. Give me the fade. You know, people want to fight. About whatever. But it's like in California, that's in the gang culture. That thing kind of honor where it's like you get ran down on by a group of individuals, and then they'll let you fight one-on-one, each one of them or something like that, instead of just stomping you out. It's like, is that like a like? Can you talk about that? Talk about the fade, like.
Hell no, that ain't how it go. No, bro. I probably now today, but in our era, that wasn't the rules. It wasn't no. If you get caught by the enemy, boy, you was ass out, and we catch them, they ass out. And I don't give a damn if it was 5 or 10 of us. He getting his ass stomped out. He gonna get the shit stomped out of him. Just like if it's one of us, they gonna stomp the shit out of us, man, because that's just the way it was. We all was stupid and ignorant now. Don't get me wrong, because we didn't know. We were all young coming up in the gang as young gang bangers and gang members, because we were brainwashed. We were bamboozled by this structure that was already put here before us, bro. So, again, when I speak on these things, it's not here for any of you youngsters that's listening or anybody that's listening to the interviews to take this shit like I'm glorifying, because I'm not glorifying none of it. Bullets hurts, nigga. I'll be the first to tell you. Lead hurt. That shit is real hot fire.
No, we not here to glorify. We just document history, and then
exactly,
you know, trying to leave a lesson or two, you know, out there for the youth. That's all we're doing.
Yes, sir.
But okay. So what? It seemed like from the outside looking in, it seemed like the fade is significant in the street culture up in Cali. Like it's like respected. Like give me a fade. Like people respect it. It seemed like that. So
I mean, that's because it became a form of discipline for us. It was a part of our ruling. Like, if it's a problem, niggas get out there and get out. Like, it's called fade now. But we used to say, let's get down. Well, nigga, we got to get down. Feel me? Like, we used to tell, like, certain county jail, you wasn't even, I need that. Walk up today, hey, where you from, homie? Oh, you from her? I need that. That's all you got to tell him. He already know, oh, that means get down. He want to fight. Like, it's certain word codes and ethics that we'll use, but like right now today, you hear the word fade. You know, nigga say, I need that fade. When nigga walk up to the nigga, hey, homie, we got to get down. Straight up, nigga. Me and you got to get down. That's how we used to do it. We got to get down, nigga. Hey, you said such about such. We got to get down, nigga, right now. Or nigga walk up and tell the nigga this, don't even say nothing. Walk right on up and fire on him. Bam, in his own. He know he got to fight now. Either fight or break wide. It's two options. You fight or break wide, nigga. Heaven and Mercantile, stage left even. I'm out of here. You know what I'm saying?
But no, okay. So no, I figure like it seemed like, I mean, I know it's gun violence in Cali, but it seemed like people are fighting more. They're like let a fight go. You know what I mean, and get it off their chest like that. Sometimes that's why I was gonna see like.
Oh yeah,
I was
well,
gonna ask.
it used to be like that. It
Go
used
ahead.
to be like that, bro. It used to be like that, but it's no different here than any other coast, bro. I wouldn't even put us on that type of pedestal and act like there's no gun playing Cali. Hell, shit, we still at our worst of any other cities, if you ask me, because we the shit is just different when it comes to our culture here, man. It's just a whole different ball game. One thing I can say though, and that I can say for as my city overall, my city in Los Angeles, man, that we are blessed with, and that's that at least this era, this generation, however they see things, they're not running around and just shooting up shit just to be shooting it up and killing innocent babies like certain states. I ain't gonna call their names out. I ain't gonna state, tag no states, right, and call their names all out, you feel me? Because I don't want niggas dumping all of their little bitty old feelings, you know what I mean? And then it's crazy because dudes were actually brag and boast about what the hell they city doing. Like, nigga, like that shit is cool. Nobody give a fuck about your city having murders in it like that make your city the hardest. That's the dumbest shit I can... Man, dudes be saying some dumb shit on this internet, bro. Like, the city of Chicago, we Chirac, we ooh. Yeah, man, Chicago is a beautiful city. Baltimore, a beautiful city. New York, a beautiful city. You feel me? Miami, a beautiful city. Los Angeles, of course, is a beautiful city. But, nigga, does that mean it make it right to brag and boast about the killings that's going on in your city? Man, that's the dumbest shit I've heard. I've done some dumb shit in my life, homie. And the dumbest shit I've ever done in my life, I want to say this on this internet for every young individual who's educated in the mind, who's striving to seek their education, because that's your power, first and foremost. I want to tell you right now, the dumbest shit Big Cap ever done in his life, the real dumbest, naive shit I've ever done in my life as a grown-ass man. But before I became a grown man, I was an adolescent to a teen. And I was a teen when I was recruited. I was 16 years old, was when I became a fucking gang member, to a gangbanger, a soldier, to a general, to a fucking retiree, man. That was the dumbest shit I could have ever done in my life, bro. Was becoming a gangbanger, man. Going to prison, doing time for this shit. Not getting no letters. I didn't see what taught me a lot in the game, homie, and I want to share this, is this don't come with a blueprint, a black book when you join the gang. Okay, here go your black book. Here's all the rules and here's all the do's and don'ts. No, certain things are told to you up front by G's. These are the do's and don'ts, nigga. And we know the do's and don'ts. The number one and number twos are the do's and don'ts. And that's snitching, getting on the stand and pointing a nigga out, fucking your life on that level. So these are the do's and don'ts. So in that aspect, you don't get a black book, and in the end of that black book tells you, oh yeah, and by the way, if you last up to 25 years old, because our equivalence of living is only 25 back then in the 80s. We called it the bloody 80s. And in the bloody 80s, man's equivalence was not even 25, it was between 18 to 25. So if you're 17, 19, 18 years old, you don't get a blue book, and the blue book tell you, oh yeah, by the way, if you make it to 30 and you decide to get out of gangs and retire, the hood is going to give you a gold watch and a pension. We're going to give you a salary for the rest of your life. Hell, you know how many niggas would have signed up for that then if they knew I can go through the army of my gang and make it out in 20, 30 years? That's like going to the army and solicit. That's like going to the Navy, you know what I mean, and the Marines and shit. It ain't nothing like that here, nigga. This ain't the Marines and the Navy. They don't the shit they promise you, you don't even get it. So you damn sure not gonna get no pension and no gold watch for being a gang member or a gang member at the end of the day. You decide you want to get out. Man, you better hope you get out of here with your limbs, all your right scruples, your eyes, everything, nigga. Because you subject to lose any parts of that shit fucking with this shit right here, man. The dumbest shit I could have ever done in my life, youngsters, was become a gangbanger, gang member, to a general, to a retiree, man. Straight up.
Yeah, that's real. I respect that. Yeah, because it's like you ain't glorifying it. What I was gonna say, I was asking you earlier about the fade and all that because like I know that it's gun violence because you even said you got shot and there's been famous people that got killed in Cali, just famous people, you know what I mean? So I know it's the gun violence, but I was just trying to see. It seemed like it was like some sort of honor right there with the fade. That's what I was saying.
You can word it in that aspect because it is honoring it because you figure you live to see another day. If two individuals just get down, get their squabbling on, get down, get off their chest, you live to see another day, nigga. Whether you walk away with a black car, he walk away with one, bust a nose, but you live to see another day as opposed to gunplay. So it's always been an honor when it comes down to squabbling. You feel me? Or fade, taking the fade, or just getting down for what you know. It's supposed to be an honor within men, period. You know what I mean? But you can't tell that to a lot of cowards, though. Cowards don't know what honor means. All they know is cowardism. It's the fact that I can't take that loss, or I don't even want to attempt to take that loss. So he go run for the gun because he ain't got it in him. You know what I'm saying?
So that's where you think. That's where you think some of the gun violence came from in your era growing up, like some guys that couldn't take that phase, so they got the going to get guns and shit. Then it just trickled down.
Yeah,
I know it was always probably fighting with the gang.
No, in my era, I'm gonna have to say that yes and no. The yes is always cowards, no matter what. Every era, I would sit here and be lying and say, oh no, wasn't no cowards back in the '80s when I was growing up in the '70s, '80s. It's cowards. Right now today, it was cowards 30 years ago, and 35 years ago, 40 years ago, and it's cowards right now today. It's cowards that exist, period. But when it came down to the transformation of the gangs coming out of the early 70s, of my big homies in the first generation, they were squabblers. My big homies had hands. This is how we learned how to fight. The second generation watching our big homies, because they had hands. They was fighters. Niggas was fighters, pimps, players, and hustlers. Feel me? You had a few hitters. Niggas was hitters. But you didn't have a variety of hitters. The exchange of us, what made it great for us in our era was because we grew up being able to adapt to all that shit, so we was able to have the best of both worlds of it. Meaning that a lot of us had the combination. We had hands and we had a trigger finger. Feel me? We can go either way. Either way a nigga want it, we'd take it any way a nigga want it. And that's how a lot of us was. So in the second generation, we made that shit volatile. So it became very, very volatile. That's when the violence really, really set in. Because we made the shit volatile, bro. Feel me?
It's like around 76. It's around like 76 that you were saying, right?
79, 80, going on into the bloody 80s, man. When we had a situation where, and this is in my movie, in my film, that I talk about it, but we had a situation where the masses come down, again, with it playing. Feel me? When I say the masses, I'm talking about J. Edgar Hoover fat ass. Uncut and undry with me. Feel me? Straight up, ROE, man. 2022, man. It's uncut with me. I'm talking about J. Edgar Hoover, old fruitcake, fatty ass, man. J. Edgar Hoover wasn't no joke, bro. Even right now in his grave, his line is still being pressed and pushed, man. You tell me that ain't power. That fat fuck is dead. But guess what? They still got his whole blueprint. They still operating off his whole blueprint, man, and tearing our ass up, man, when it comes down to the cultural aspect of this shit, man. So they brought some trains through Watts, and they derailed the railroads in Watts. And how ironic, you derail these railroads and crash these trains, and they between all four of the housing structures, and the gangs are just merging right now. You may have a 22, and see, back then, my big homies, they used to use what you call a zip gun. They didn't have guns. You have a 22, you feel me? We talking about in the Raymond Washington Tookie days, feel me? The Big Puddin', King Babalu from Peru, you know what I mean? My big homies, Ray Boyces, and the Joe Barkley, they might have a 22 out of 25 of them, 2 of them might have a gun. But all 23 of them straight handlebars, hands. Them other 2, it might be a 22, a sawed-off shotgun, which was illegal, a 12 gauge or something like that. Feel me? They didn't have guns. So what they did was they resorted to being creative. My big homies, this is how I learned how to make my first hand made weapon. My daddy didn't even teach me this one. And my daddy had skills and taught
Y'all
me.
used to make guns. So y'all used to have to make guns.
I'm finna show you. Listen,
I hear you.
you take a gooseneck. You know what a gooseneck is? Take a gooseneck, you know, off the handlebar. You know, it got that long screw. It's called a zip gun, man. You feel me? That's how we used to make the zips. Put a bullet in there with a hammer. Bah! Pair of pliers or whatever. Bow. So what it does when it ignite, that's your pin. And that's what hits the shell and makes it ignite. The bullet comes out. Bro, this was in the late 70s, like 76, 77 when I learned this. So my big homies in them didn't really never resort to gun violence. It was always fisticuff, or you might have a switchblade and knife. You know, it was like the old school gang banging, like just like the white boys, you know, a baseball bat, some chains. But the massive came in with this plan and threw them damn trains down up in Watts and derailed them. And guess what come up out of them?
What's that?
Furniture, food, perishables. But the majority thing that come up out of them was for us was weapons. They sent us brand new Tech 9. That's when the Tech 9s came out. Tech 9 Uzis, bro, the 4.5s. Soon you bust on one of them some bitches, it burn up. The sunburn, this burn up, get hot. You gotta drop it, or it might blow up in your face on you because it get hot. They was raggedy, man.
Witness that.
Witness them. Witness them. I had them. I was, what? Witnessing that. I'm telling you the story because I was involved. Feel me? I experienced this shit. I seen it happen with my own eyes at 16 years old. In my hood, come down 15, 16, and they drop these guns down off of us. And we go over there, hey, because the trains were sitting there for a few days. So as project kids, you know what I mean, teens, we nosy. We go over there, see what's going on, okay. But ain't none of us really tripping on the trains, like going to see what's up in the damn crates. Finally, we say, fuck that shit, man. Let's go, we finna go over and see what's happening. So we going over here, get our thief on. Shit, boy, look what we stumbled up on. And not just us, mind you, you got another D-train rails headed that direction toward downtown, but it's sitting right where the Jordan Downs, High Sanders, the Blue Gates, you feel me? Which is Crip area, where all these gang members can come explore and see what's on these damn trains. And this is how these guns got into Watts and flourished into Watts and flourished in the South Central. You feel me? And once them guns flourished, everything became volatile, homie. From the blood and the red side, it became volatile. I mean, that's when it went up into the bloody 80s, bro. And if a nigga survived through the bloody 80s, homie, feel me? I'm not the only veterans left out here, bro. It's some veterans. And if they had tell you the same damn thing, bro, them bloody 80s, man, was like, at that time, they was recruiting and sending our ass to the armies, fresh out of high school. We was stuck in the army right here. We was in a war of our own right here, man. We was in Vietnam right here, genociding amongst ourselves. But we was right here in a war of our own right here, man, on Earth in Los Angeles, bro.
Do you think that that's what's going on in Chicago and other cities right now when you see all these kids, young boys with the switches and all these brand new ass guns? Like, it seems like everybody got a brand new gun on social media now, like all kind of guns and shit. You think that's what's going on? Like, they put here some type of way, boom.
What do you think?
Like it would.
Where do you think they're getting it from? They're not legal. If they were legalized guns, then a lot of them be able to carry them legally, right? They're not legalized weapons. So what do you think? You damn right they putting them here, they planting them here. Feel me? They're allowing them access. And when you allow them access, when I say access, okay, did you...
Like what you said before. Go ahead.
Like if you watch Snowfall, I'm just using this as a quick example. And Snowfall was really, you know, Rick Story. That's them. They are the characters. They are Snowfall. But however, when the war was going on with Nicaragua, and the war was going on, didn't you see how these weapons was being transported between the United States and Mexico? Didn't you see how this shit? This is what's going on right now today. Our government is a cold, crucial son of a bitch, man, and don't give a shit about the human life, bro. Especially when it comes to the black culture. That's their whole designated design is to destroy us, make us become indistinct. Let's make this clear and understand that right now, man. Make us become straight distinction, bro. Because we know we was the most powerful being on earth, bro. And that ain't taking that from any other culture. It is what it is. It's facts, whether you like it or not. This black king skin right here is supposed to be predominant. We supposed to be this way. But they want us to be distinct, man. That's why they don't want us to be heterosexuals. They don't want us to be strong men. They don't want us to lead our households no more. They don't want us to discipline our children. Fuck you. Mine get out loud and bust him upside his head. Him or her. They can hate me in their own words, but they gonna love me at the end of the day because they know it's all love. You don't know that, Mr. Government. You wasn't here when I was conceiving and having my kids, so who the fuck are you to tell me my rules in my household? I could never understand it in a lifetime, bro. You ain't gonna get me to understand that shit, man. How dare you come into America's households and tell them how to run their households, bro? And break down structure in all these households of America, especially us. So now we hate each other. Women hate the men don't want to be in relationships and don't want to be married. It's like we fucked up, bro. Excuse my French. It's like, but it was all the integral plot. We didn't do nothing but feed into it. We can't really blame them. Feel me? Yeah, you can point the finger, but you can't blame them. You got to stand in the mirror and blame the man and the woman in the mirror, man, because we did the dirty work. We still doing it for them right now today. All these shootings out here and shit, you can't say, oh man, these white folks, this the white folks. No, you dumb niggas want to continue to be niggers. Because when the truth is being given to you, you don't even want to hear that. Oh, she showing her titties. Oh, she got her ass out, she twerking. That's all they want to hear, bro. Oh, give me some dough. But when the truth is prevailed for us, bro, we overlook this shit. Like, I'm going to give you a prime example. I couldn't understand for the life of me, man. When I seen all these posters on the internet, all over social media about Independence Day. Yeah, I'm a hypocrite of it in my younger years because that's what my mama taught me and my daddy. They didn't know, well, my mama primarily, not my daddy, but my mama, because she didn't know better. She didn't know her real thorough African history. It wasn't embedded into my mama. Feel me? My granny knew. My great-granny knew because they know the thorough history. So it's taught through the generations, bro. So if my mama didn't know this, she wasn't able to teach me. So she taught me all the things she know because it was embedded in her. She just didn't teach me my real thorough black history, bro, because a lot of our parents didn't know it. So when you grow up and become an adult and you start being able to have your own mind frame to be able to think and make these decisions and read and say, damn, and decipher and go, whoa. My mom and them told me that, my auntie and them said it was like, but it ain't even like that. This is the truth right here. So you find out. So I sit back and I ask myself, I say, when and what is it going to take for us, our culture, us, blacks, Africans, Asiatics, Israelites, us, man, when is it going to take for us to take back our fucking true identity and realize, bro, we have given up enough of us, of this. We have given up all of this to everybody else to sprinkle now and take bits and pieces up from us. We've gave it up. So I said, damn. I said, look at all these posters and explaining what the fuck was going on the 4th of July, Independence Day. Our people and our ancestors were getting fucked over. They were still chained up and getting dogged out. Well, you niggas popping firecrackers. Cracker, man. Popping firecrackers. These crackers was demolishing and diminishing our people and our ancestors. Oh, no, man, I can't celebrate that day, man, neither. That's another holiday, white man holiday. You can have it back. You can have it back. My kids, me, as long as you're under my roof, you run. No, we won't be celebrating that and hoo-hooing. I'm good. So my point to that is, when do we realize, man, that 85 of this shit that's made up in the world, it's not for us. It wasn't designed for us. It wasn't created for us. So why the freak are we celebrating this shit and it's really not for us? And they throwing it in our face now and they constantly tell us, yeah, nigga, we've been doing this to you niggas. Yeah. Like Charlie would say, yeah. Oh, no, yeah. We went over there and did this to Africa. Yeah, nigga, yeah. But guess what, nigga? Africa can join with us and let us do it. So it's like, bro, when did we wake up, homie? When did we really wake up and grow? When did we realize, damn, man, we really been bamboozled? We've been fucked up all the way around the board. And now, what we did was we planted another seed of genocide. See, we were no different than Shaka Zulu was. And that nigga was a king, a dominant. I'm talking about a hard body. Much respect. I love me some Shaka Zulu because he was a warrior. But nigga, you was a sellout. You fucked over us. You could have stopped a lot of shit. Feel me? This is why it's so important to go watch The Woman King, man, that's coming up in theaters, y'all. Go watch The Woman King. Get wind of our fucking history, man, and stop being blind and dumbfounded. Go watch Viola Davis get down, man. Oscar, off top. You're going to see a tribe of women, something they don't tell us in our history, how these women fought for Africa, bro. Real history, man. Stop being blind. Screw your third eye on your motherfucking forehead, man. Let's go, man.
Talk that shit.
You been tapped in, man. You're tapped in and tuned in right now, man, to corporate cartel, man. You are tapped in and tuned in to corporate cartel, man. ROE, man, 2022 live, baby. Nino Cappuccino, man. Big Trey right here, man. What's up, Trey? Talk to me, man.
Man, I fuck with that. That's real. That's my type of talk. Like I say, okay. So let me see. Okay, so I'm gonna bring it back again. But so you said something important, like when we growing up, our mamas didn't teach us that type of history. For me, I learned that type of stuff, man. I went to prison young, doing dumb shit, like you say, succumbing to gang culture and different dumb shit. But then I got some books from a couple OGs. Then I learned some stuff. Then I started applying it. But where you get that history and all that? Because that's where I got it from. But where you get it from? Because we didn't get it from home, though.
Just through the system. And again, like I say, researching, reading, listening, especially this social media, it throws it in our face.
Yeah, that's
You didn't see all them posters on the social media, bro, during Independence Day of some of our people who got wind, who was smart, were putting the post up and say, while y'all celebrating and popping y'all fireworks, this what was going on to our people, our ancestors, man. See, I hate to say this, but I gotta give it to them because it's, I speak uncut. But it's like this, bro. When we talk, it's a separation now. This is how fucked up they got our mind fucked up and warped. The niggas gonna look at you like you crazy. Like, what that nigga talking about? Nigga, 4th of July's the shit. You'd rather argue you down. When knowing, nigga, that's not our holiday. That's not for you. It ain't for me. Leave it be. It can stay right there. When the 4th come every year, you can be right. What about Juneteenth? All right, nigga. Tell me your history about Juneteenth then, nigga. Since you celebrate 4th of July, what do Juneteenth mean to you? He gonna be like, what the fuck is Juneteenth? That's what he gonna say to you. I don't know, man. An argument. Because instead of grab a hold and grasp a hold into our truth and feeding for the truth, we rather feed for the negativity. We rather feed for the bullshit. I don't want to know the truth. This is what a nigga rather tell you. Now, so what if it is the truth, nigga? I'm still going to celebrate Christmas. I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that. When none of that shit for us. But if we go back to what's for us, you would see a transition and change on Earth if we did that as a culture. If just one day suddenly just bi-coastal, every coast, niggas woke up and it was a whole different transition right now. Boy, the Earth, they wouldn't know what to do, man. It'll be some real deep, dark shit that'll go. Man, you can't even imagine that. You feel me?
Listen, bro. We got to chop it up like outside of this. Like, that's deep, bro. Like,
man.
What's up? That's real shit. No, I agree with you.
Boy, listen, man. If we just decide one day, hey, enough is enough, man. In every city, when it come down to this black skin,
we got a lot more power than we realize.
Man. But instead, we rather fight against the truth and live for the lie, live for the bullshit, bro. Not I, man. I can't do it. Feel me? So long as it's in me, I'ma teach mine the right way. I'ma teach and give mine the right way. You know what I mean? And those who's willing to listen, I'ma give it to them the right way, man. Uncut. You know what I'm saying? This is, this is why my triumph in the business is the way it is, bro. I've been at this shit 20 years, man, and I've been offered many offers on the table, man, to better, jump the grain and take the other lane, man, and and get involved into that sacred life and shit, man. I'm like, fuck you. I'ma get mine the hard way then. I get mine the hard way, but I'ma get it. That's what I'm damn sure gonna do. I'ma get it though. May be harder than yours. So what? I don't surface overnight like you. That's because, nigga, I don't know what cock tastes like. I don't know what weenie tastes like, nigga. I ain't never slept on a director's couch, nigga. Feel me? I ain't willing to let no nigga fondle with me for my next big role, nigga. Feel me? So I'm going to get mine the nigga way. I'm going to grind hard. I'm going to hustle harder. And that's what I've been doing, bro. I've been... This industry, that's an experience within an experience, but that's my book I'm writing, about the industry itself and my experience in the industry, as an entertainer, an actor, screenwriter, film producer, director, music McGill, getting down from a music perspective, man, I'm writing my book on that, man, you know what I mean? That's a part of my biography, but this industry is crucial, bro, and a lot of the stories is told within the industry itself, it's a lot of truth and facts behind it, you feel me? So you got to be a strong individual, a certain-minded individual, man, to just stand on certain type of morals and principles and do's and don'ts, man. And that's just me. That's who I am. So therefore, it comes harder for me. My hustle has to be harder, and my grind has to be more impeccable than the next because a lot of these niggas ain't grinding. They selling out. They did whatever you tell me to do, I'm going to do it. Whatever I got to do to get out, do it. And then here I come. I'm a Dame Dash in the mind. That's why I got so much respect for that king, bro. That's a real king, homie. That's a real king right there. And nigga, see, Dame Dash and me can do so much shit together and get along because he's me and I'm him. And when niggas see us, they say, "Man, nigga, I got a homie, same attitude. Nigga kick down doors and he don't give a damn how he talk to them Jews and them white folks because his heart and his sincerity is for real, man. And his leadership is for real, bro. They wasn't no sellout. So they couldn't separate him from his...
He's speaking up inside all the time, too. Like how you say, fearless.
Yeah, so therefore, you couldn't separate him from the pack. Because he was the pack. Feel me? So it was easy to take a couple out of the pack and separate them because they didn't have that leadership. They had the hunger, but not the leadership. And the hunger was, just give me mine however you give it to me. I don't care how I got to get it. Just give it to me. I'll do whatever. Oh, stab him in the back. Fuck him, then I'll do that. So it's easy that way. But when you a strong individual and then they come at you and you knowing you with a real structured organization, you going to nip it in the bud, tell you, homie, we don't get down like that over here. And when they see that, they know, oh, shit, we can't bend. So now we got to meet their terms. Whatever they terms, niggas say we want $1 billion over here, damn it, that's what we want. You got to give it because they ain't bending over there. Ain't none of them niggas selling out. And they got the best shit over there right now. They got the best product. And the only way we going to get it is become partners with them because Dame said so. Niggas didn't see it that way. And so reason why I can relate with him, bro, is because I build a regime the same way. I build a structure of artists the same way. I put a lot of my money, my own hustling, hard-earned money into this shit. And niggas let me down, bro. But at the end of the day, I grew and understood. They didn't let me down. Because I still own all the catalogs. I own all the music. It's my shit, my investment. They let themselves down because they didn't understand my unorthodox way of doing things. They didn't understand my leadership. They didn't understand my best interest in them. It's for them. Just follow my lead. That's it. They didn't understand that. But they understood it 15, 20 years down the line after that individual would call me up out the clear blue. Now they got families and kids and responsible and would talk to me for hours on the phone and just telling me, man, how, you was a mentor to me and a big uncle and a daddy I never had, and we didn't understand that, bro. And that's the same thing Dame went through with cats. They didn't understand his leadership and his authority figure, bro. That man is an authority figure, man. Because it was embedded in him like that. Someone gave them genes to him and taught him that shit, so it's in him. Ain't a nigga just trying to be trashy or be shitting on you just because. And I get that all the time from cats, bro. You feel me? Cause it's my authority figure, bro. It's if you
just got a strong personality. It's just a strong personality. That's all. Like on the real, aggressive. But ain't nothing wrong with that. Like how you say, it's just how people interpret it or whatever. But
yeah, definitely.
People, cause your intentions be good. Yeah. So, all right. So look at me. So I want to go back to use like we gonna jump around. Like I like all of that. What you talked about, bro, because that needs to be heard too, you know. But like I say, I was gonna stay along the timeline to an extent. So you said that train got knocked over, and that's how the guns got in the neighborhood.
Yeah.
So when in the Jordan Down projects is like, how far in proximity is that to Watts? That's like in walking distance.
Yeah.
I mean, not Watts to Nickerson Gardens. I'm sorry.
All four of the housing projects is central within a mile perimeters of walking distance. All four of them. Okay. Yeah, we can walk.
Okay.
15, 10-minute walk. Okay. Bam, 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 bam.
So early in the flick, when those guns hit and all that, those was y'all first rivals because they had guns too, to an extent. Like those was like y'all already was rivals basically, and then the guns. Yeah, okay.
We became rivals because the separation came about. Like the Jordan Downs had made a choice. You feel me? When the East Side Crips was already merging our way, the Jordan Downs had already made their decision on what direction they was gonna take, so they became Jordan Down Crips. Then you got the PJs, and of course we the bounty hunters. So once that happened, the separation came about during the first killings in the late 70s, during the first killings of Watts. And that's what really brought about our separation. And once the separation came about, of course, that's because, you know, the guns that was, flourished out there and put out there for us, man, to destruct ourselves, you know. So that, you know, that was all a part of their plan and their plot.
Basically, you said you went to YA and all that when you was around 16 or so. Before that, you got shot, or was it afterwards?
Before my YA incident, yeah, that's afterwards.
Yeah, like when did you end up getting your shooting incident? You said you got shot a couple times.
My first incident getting hit, it was I was like 26, 27, 28. Then my second incident, I was like in my early 30s, late 30s. Okay. That's when I got hit with the K. I got hit with the I got hit with an AK assault rifle on my hip. And my right tibial and fibula, it blew my tibial and fibula apart. But because I was very athletic, you know what I mean, I had strong legs, my bones grew back. So I was able to take the hardware out. But at first I had hardware all in my right leg, and a bullet fragment hit my left one, but it went straight through the tissue. But my right tibial and fibula.
You end up in YA. When did you end up in the adult prisons? Like, and then also, what's the difference between the youth prisons and the adult prisons?
There's YA is not considered a youth prison. It's a youth facility, but it's not a youth prison. You can say it's a youth prison though, in a sense, because it prepares you for the big yard. It prepares you for prison. You know what I mean? But the reason why I say it's not prison is because it's a vocational trade. You know, you like most of all the YAs. It gives you the opportunity. Basically, what YA is set up to give you the opportunity. Like, okay, you got one more chance, one more time. You can make this your pit stop. This is it right here. Or, nigga, we going to train you and get you prepared for your next stop, which is Tracy, Soledad, San Quentin, and Folsom. The big yards. You feel me? So, YA is basically your pit stop of the mind to be able to say, okay, do I quit now or do I continue to move forward? And most of us, we continue to move forward. That's why we end up in prison. A lot of us who went to YA said, man, shit. Even though YA was cool because it wasn't like prison where you constantly locked down because, again, you had to go to school or either some type of trade or work. So you was able to educate yourself and leave YA with degrees, meaning a lever hand. So it was cats who couldn't read and write that went through YA, left YA reading and writing, and never looked back in life. Never did another crime in their life because of these things. So it's all, Yeah, it all depends on how you take advantage of the opportunities that's there, because there are opportunities in YA. But prison is kind of structured in a sense, for as the vocational aspect, it was structured the same way, where you can go to prison and leave prison ending up your game as far as your education. You know what I mean? Until they start taking a lot of the programs out of prison. And that was because they had a master plan. Feel me?
Right, I get it. Yeah, back to but what was the difference between? Okay, so YA one basically prison. So what was like prison like when you went through there the first time? Was you not necessarily fearful, but like you hear stories before you get there? Was you on like guard? Was you?
YA in prison is because prison, you got, structured organized gangs in prison. Then you got weapons. YA, you don't have as much as the weaponry that you have in prison. In YA, you're not subject to be strolling on the line and a nigga walk up to you and hit you and stab you. Feel me? A nigga walk up to you and found you and y'all get in a fist fight for a minute or two before they break it up. Prison is a whole different ball game, bro. Prison is, niggas lose their life. YA, it's squabble, it's fight, it's get down. This is where you test your fighting skill. That's why I say it's a training corps that gets you ready for the yard. And it gives you the opportunity to say, nah, I don't want to do this, man. If prison gonna be like this and worse, nah, I don't want this shit. So it gives you an opportunity to say yay and nay.
Yeah, I see, okay.
And also Trey, the politics is different. Again, the politics is different in YA than in prison.
So when you talk about politics, I want to ask a couple. Okay, so I got two questions. One is the Bounty Hunter Bloods. That's a blood set, but what's the difference between that, a Damu, and a Pyru? And there was another, man. Like, what's the difference between those? That's all the same.
All the same, bro.
Like, it's different.
It's all the same. This internet got this shit separated, and it's all the same.
Right.
It ain't no damn different.
Right.
If you claiming a blood set, you a blood. You a B-dog, straight up. Whether it's Pyru, Brim, Swine, Divin Lane, 2 P's in the B, 4, 5, 6s, you know what I mean? That's blood, all bloods. You come to the county jail, and you from one of them cliques, and you come in the blood module, that's the only reason why you in there and you accept it, because you a blood. You ain't get in the module because, I'm separated, I'm a Damu. Nigga, Damu is blood in Swahili, bro. That's what Damu mean. It's Swahili. That's all it means, bro. So people be taking this media shit and running with it and having it all misconstrued. You know what I mean?
Right. I get it. All right, so with also when I was doing research, I seen that the bounty hunters, their biggest oppositions was the Grape Street and then the West Side Pyrus. So the West Side Pyrus being in Compton, how far is Compton from Watts? Is that like close proximity to, or?
Let me stop you right there. Cause I don't even want you to think that or put that kind of label on us, because we not blood killers. First and foremost.
No,
when it come down to my hood, my projects, we didn't grow and build no reputation for the Nickerson Gardeners bounty hunters as being blood killers, homie. We are the hood. We are the umbrella of all bloods. That's who we were. Pyrus, everything. We were the umbrella, bro. Bounty hunters. So when you say our oppositions, our ops, we don't have ops. We got enemies. But when you say our enemies, our ops are the Great Streets and the West Side Pyrus, see, then you speaking on some new theory shit that I don't have no awareness of. I don't know nothing about. Feel me? Because I don't got no enemies from West Side Pyrus or East Side Pyrus or Brims or none of that shit that's Damus, period, when it come to me, my consideration as a real legendary bounty hunter. So I that's that social media shit, bro. My homies on the streets ain't out here warring with no West Side Pyrus. My homies ain't battling with the West Side Pyrus to my knowledge of, homie, and I'm connected still when it come to my ear to these streets. So I don't know nothing about that new wave shit when it comes to that. Now, the Great Streets, it's a different ball game. Yeah, they've been our rivals from the existence of this gang shit. They've been our rivals. PJs was our rivals as well, but we get along. Our projects get along with the PJs more or less than the Great Streets based on our peace treaty that was broken in 2004. So we still have an alliance with the PJs as opposed to the Great Streets. But a lot of the OGs And some of my YGs, you know, niggas is thorough and have names, have a connection and still have an alliance with certain great streets that they may fuck with. Certain niggas that's so from over there that they may still fuck with, that they cool with. You know what I'm saying? Because they have an alliance with them. You know what I'm saying? But overall, yeah, they were our rival enemies, not West Side Pirus. It was great streets, PJs, front streets, front hood, Hat Gang Watts, anything in Watts that was the opposite of us, then they were our rivals. And then from there, we got the homies, got the, you know, the bishops, non-deuce bishops. Then we got the bebops, Watts, you know what I mean? Them all the homies. So that was all homies from there. That's all Watts.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Growing up, I see what you're saying. Hey, so look, growing up, my first, the first time I heard of Watts was watching Menace to Society. They had that scene when they like, it's like over the projects. Is that Nickerson Gardens that they? Yeah.
No, that's Jordan Downs. We never really, we didn't get our film structures to early on in the game of the 2000s, but during the 80s and the 90s when John Singleton shot a few things down there, primarily it was Jordan Downs was the first project that was on the map as far as the film center photographer, and then the PJs with Denzel Washington. That was the PJs.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Is that the one with
the scene with Macy Gray was getting robbed. When Ethan Hawke and when Denzel went in there and went to the spot, said, "We got a warrant for you for such arrest," and he went in there and found the money. Right. That's the PJs. Those houses across the street, that's the PJs. That's all their area.
They went to the jungle on there too, right? On that same movie.
The whole film was based primarily out the jungles. That's the dead end. Okay. Yeah, that's the dead end.
Okay. Yep. So being T. Rodgers from out this way, and then his connection with California, do you know anything about him? And is that like an area he was from out there, the jungle?
I grew up with T. When T descended to L.A., he first got here, he was in the 20s, man, from the Biddy. See, a lot of people don't know this, but T was a pimp. He was running around with the G homies from the first generation, and they was pimping back in the Biddy, back in the city, Stones. They was pimps. So T had this van. T. Rodgers had this van called the Scooby-Doo van. We used to call it the Scooby-Doo van. He used to ride around in the Scooby-Doo van. But he was always short and had a mouthpiece. And so that's how the homies on the west side was introduced to the BPS chapter, because basically T was descended out here to bring the chapter out here, and he introduced the chapter to the jungle. He could have ended up anywhere in Los Angeles, and he still would have ended up introducing that chapter, because that was his mission. You know what I mean? So when he introduced that chapter to the west side, he started educating a lot of the homies over there. And a lot of the homies that he was dealing with was real hitters, was niggas that was from the West that was representing the J's at that time. These was real G's. So he started educating a lot of the homies and educating a lot of the young homies, you know, based on the Stone, you know, and the 5 pointers and the whole history of everything. And so that's how that history came about as far as the Black Peace Stones. Because the jungles used to be called the jungles. Jungle Stones. They was just the jungles. And that's how the P got put in the stone, you feel me, through T. Rodgers.
Right. Damn. So the P is like basically Piru, or well, I don't want to. I'm just assuming because it's blood.
No. The jungles are not Pirus. It's Black Peace Stone. Black Peace Stone Nation. So that's what it stood for.
Right. So it's kind of like the Black Peace Stones out here, there. Right.
It ain't kind of like. That's what it was symbolized because of T. Rodgers. That's why I'm trying to give you the history on it, because once T gave them the knowledge of it, at first they didn't have that tag. It wasn't BPS. It's just jungles. You got the Biddy, which is the 20s, and you got the jungles. They was merged together. Always was merged together. Then when he came and he put the P in, that's when the Black Peace Stone. So it was from that chapter, because he had opened up a mosque as well in the jungles. He had a whole mosque in the jungles as well, you know, where he taught at and where he gave the knowledge of that chapter was in this mosque on San Rosalia. That's where he had it at. So.
Right. Damn. That is the history right there. Okay. So, what I was gonna say, so, okay, T. Rodgers, you said you knew him. What about, okay, I'm gonna say this. So, it seemed like California and Chicago is the biggest gang culture. Like, they influenced the whole country with gangs. Because basically, all of the gangs is out of California or Chicago. Like, that's, you know what I mean, and everywhere.
You
So
can,
like,
you can, yeah. I mean, from a history standpoint, Chicago, when it comes down to gangs, again, because I say this, and a lot of Chicagoans, they getting their feelings, man, and it's like, it's crazy because I don't give a fuck about none of that shit. None of it no more. I don't give a shit.
Tell the history. You OG, you
But-
teaching me shit.
But check it out. No, what I'm saying is this. Chicago to us, when it comes to the West Coast, we've always respected and had so much respect for Chi because for us, Chicago produced gangsters, not gangbangers. See, we were gangbangers. We was fucked up. We was on some gangbangers shit. Chi, y'all, you niggas produced gangsters, meaning structured organizations. So when it came down to the BDs, the Vice Lords, all the structured organizations was there for us in the 70s and the 80s that we knew of. We didn't look at that as gangs or gang bangers. We looked at niggas as gangsters. Like you say GD back then in the 80s, we thinking gangsters. As it was, gangster disciple. So we respected it as gangsters. Them niggas as gangsters. Like they
like you said, like more like you saying more like you looked at like organized crime. Is that how you saying?
Frank Nitty, the mob type shit, organized crime, racketeering. You know, they on some shit above us. We ain't even made it there yet, nigga. We on some Kill Bill shit over red and blue, dumb shit. So we looking at you niggas as gangsters. Same as New York. New York, for us, produced certain niggas that was out of New York that was gangsters, not gangbangers. We knew for a fact New York didn't have gang members. Nigga, you niggas clowned us down there. Y'all used to talk bad about us. For we knew it wasn't gangbangers, but we respected the niggas that was gangsters down there. But when it came to gangs, yeah, we always knew that Chicago produced some of the first form of gangs. Niggas said, come on, you see it on my wall right there. Warriors, nigga, come out and play.
Right.
You feel me?
Right. That movie was Chicago. I ain't know that. I seen that movie growing up. I ain't know it was.
You feel what I'm saying? So this when gangs was first introduced to us, me, especially me as a youngin'.
Right.
So thoroughly we know that it's always been gangs in Chi-Town, but when it came down to gang banging, we didn't look at Chi-Town like that. Like, niggas don't gang bang out there. They don't jump out, nigga, where you from? Nigga, what set you from? Nigga, you got on that clip, you got on that blue, you got on that red? No, it was about cliques. It was about organization. It was about structure. Feel me? It was like, nigga, you can't come over here and sell on this block and this GD turf or this BD turf because it's structure. See, it wasn't like that with us. It was like, nigga, you need to go set up shop anywhere. We go take over turf because we banging. And the majority, our power. And that's how it was for us. So it was different structure. So we just never looked at it as gang banging in Chicago. So and right now today, my respect factor for the Chi is I respect the Chi like hell, bro, because I feel Chi produced a lot of real gangsters up out of Chicago. Black real gangsters. Some real thorough niggas come up out of Chicago.
So you spoke on that's respect too. So you had spoke on like the GDs and you spoke about like being organized and all that. But I want to say, so you heard of Larry Hoover growing up and all that back in the day. So have you heard about on the internet the stuff going on where like supposedly Whack 100, Jay Prince, Larry Hoover, like with the tapes and all of this, like you heard stuff?
Knowing how Jay Prince do his business, how Jay get down, and he's a thorough businessman, and not really knowing much of Whack or how Whack handle his business, and not knowing the woman that's in the middle, so I can't really give my thorough opinion on it because I really don't know. I'm just like you, a consumer on the outside looking in, and I'm not around either one of them to where I was able to be able to get my ear full to know, okay, this is what's really going on. So I couldn't really voice an opinion about it. taking sides. When I take sides, it's not about taking sides with me. It's about the truth being revealed, and eventually the truth will be revealed. So it'll come out on who's ever what's, or who has the rights to what, and who's what. But I know the Sun have came out and done a few little interviews, and based according to the Sun, man, and what he's saying, it makes a lot of sense. It gives significance because that is his son, that's his seed, and I don't see that brother having no reason to lie about his father or about certain things that's taking place. So, it's kind of, it's an up and down situation. You really don't know, man. And like I say, when it come down to this social media shit is so watered down nowadays. It's so bullshit. You don't know what to believe and what's what, really. Until you really, unless you're on the inside or you really got dabs on what's going on to be able to decipher. So, you really don't know. But I know Larry Hoover's a thorough brother. He's a thorough king. And he's somebody, he's a thorough individual amongst our culture who needs to be free and need to be released. He done paid his fucking debt to this funky ass, shitty ass society. He done paid his debt 3 times, if you ask me. And I got the same way. Big homies is kings, thorough warriors like that. That's up in prison right now and paid their debts to society. Like Big Doc Holliday. You know what I'm saying? 83 years old, 84, man. That man is 84. He didn't pay his debt. My big homie, Michael Duro, man, Zyrebo, man. They didn't pay their debts to society. So it's like, cats like these dudes are always going to be a threat because the cats like me learn from them. That's why I'm a threat. So we always be a threat when we start voicing our voice and utilize our voice for the power within that we're supposed to utilize. It's a threat. No. We don't want him to form nothing. So it's like, it's a threat. But free Big Larry Hoover, man. Straight up, man. It's Big Cap, Nino Cappuccino. Straight up out of Watts, man. Free Larry Hoover, man. Straight up, homie. Free all the real ones, man, that's down there, man, in them dungeons, man, that need to be free, bro, that pay their debts to society. Free all of them of America, man. Free all our real kings, man, and our fathers and grandfathers, man, of somebody's family, bro, that need to be free. On that note, man, you've been tapped in and tuned in, man, to ROE 2022, man. Corporate Cartel, man. Big Trey is on the channel, man. Corporate Cartel, man. Tap in and tune in, man. Bye, y'all.